morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isana Cayetano.
And good morning, Belize. It's good to be back. It's good to be
Welcome
home.
back, April.
Thank you
Man,
so
you've been
much.
away for over a month or so.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yes.
And again for a month and everything changed. But with changes come great things.
Yes.
So
Nothing is ever stagnant.
No, not at all, not at all. As all of our eye openers have taught us, right?
Yes.
But we are coming to you live from our beautiful set here at Old Belize.
It's part of our OIE escape.
It's part of our OIE escapes. You know,
Yes.
even though I was not home, I was tuning in, I was watching, I was seeing the different adventure, different scenic sets that you all have been taking place. I know that at Radisson the last time.
Yes. No longer the Radisson.
No longer
actually,
the
it's
Radisson.
Fort George.
Just say more changes, guys, more changes. But nevertheless, we are same here at OIE, bringing you wonderful information, wonderful conversations right here on your morning show.
So how's it going?
It has been going well, Isani. I have been adventuring, learning. I really was on an internship for a month. Basically to just advance my skills in bioarchaeology. Well, not bore you with the details, but it was quite an adventure throughout the United States, different states, seeing different states. And started in New Orleans, ended in Boston, and then came back here in Belize. I eat a lot of good food. It was wonderful.
There we go, there we go.
But what's buzzing here at home?
Well, there's a lot we can talk about. Things that are buzzing in and around the country. I can tell you that over the weekend, we celebrated Mother's Day.
Yes, we did.
And from a political point of view, a lot was done to honor women who are mothers, right? And so over the weekend you had parties, you had various events, you know, commemorating Mother's Day.
As usual, yes.
And there's a viral clip. One of my good friend Karim Musa, the era representative for Caribbean Shores, he had his Mother's Day event on Saturday at Shisha. Okay. And there was this, like an 8-second clip of him, you know, breaking it down the old Punta style.
You better celebrate.
Yes. And it's good that we're able to, you know, acknowledge and celebrate women who are mothers, right? They are very, very important in terms of the family dynamic and in terms of the leadership role in the household, right? And I think as men, we should be able to celebrate that more often and give it the credit that it deserves, right? And so yes, that was part of what was taking place over the weekend, right? Now, I have my own take on it.
Okay.
And so while I personally have, you know, given credit where credit is due,
yes,
equally from a man's perspective, I'm also here to say that, look, come June, when it's Father's Day time, give us the same acknowledgement, right? And my little bone, small bone, but I have to throw that out there nonetheless, right? Is that our political leaders, since we're using public funds, should equally go out of their way to acknowledge those of us fathers who are present in our kids' lives. And so, same for goose, same for gander, right?
I don't disagree. I do agree, and we have these conversations quite often, Isani, especially when we're talking about Women's Month, gender equality, gender equity. We're talking about trying to create this neutral balance between the sexes, right? And I just like how I 100% appreciate my mom. We had, of course, a wonderful time with her yesterday, her and my grandmother. We do the same thing for my dad. It has to be acknowledged, and well, in my household anyway, I know it's different for a lot of people out there, but in my household, we celebrate both our parents. I was very much lucky to be raised by both my parents.
Myself as well.
Right. So I agree with you. You still, what you do for your moms, you celebrate your dads in the exact same way.
Yes.
I agree. But I also, I wasn't here in Belize when this was occurring, and this is just something I wanted to bring up because I thought that it was it was different. I was in the States when this particular news broke out, but there was apparently a solar storm that passed in the North Atlantic and in the more Nordic parts of the world, not just the States, where you could see the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis.
The Aurora Borealis.
Yes, all throughout places
I
in
mean,
Canada.
that word.
What, Aurora Borealis? Yes, the pretty lights that you would see
most
in...
people refer to it as the Northern Lights, as you've mentioned. There it is on screen.
Right.
The scientific term, Aurora Borealis.
But this is something you see in maybe parts of Finland, right, and Greenland in the more Nordic areas.
Yeah.
And because of the solar storm that occurred, I believe, Friday night, you could see it in parts in Canada, parts in the United States. People in Atlanta could have seen these northern lights, or the shades of the lights to a particular extent. And you know, with these kinds of stuff, I believe the last time something like this occurred was like 8 years ago or something to that effect. And so if you were awake between the hours of like 12 a.m.
in those
locations and 3 a.m., you would have been able to see, you know, these beautiful shades of
this light
colors.
Show.
It was gorgeous. But
you know, I've only seen the Northern Lights when I watch documentaries from Nat Geo or, you know, these other programs that show environment, nature, and all of these other things.
I mean, I didn't witness it myself, but people were raging about it. The fact that you could see it, and it's like maybe a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see certain things like that. But a lot of persons were concerned about why it's taking place. So how is it that this natural phenomena is only supposed to be to a particular area or a particular region? Is it happening now? It's starting to spread throughout different parts of the world, and so there were all of these different you know, us humans, right? We want to be able to make something out of something, and there were all of these different conspiracies about climate change, and it's because of the satellites in space that we're having these kinds of phenomenal events. But at the end of the day, this is something that has occurred before. More than likely, because of climate change, it might occur earlier again. But I'm not a scientist, so I'm not gonna, please don't quote me on that.
You're close enough to being a scientist. I'm only a journalist, right? You have all your expertise in archaeology and all of these other cool stuff.
You know, the fact that I was drilling 2,000-year-old teeth is not the same as looking at the stars.
You're like a female version of Indiana Jones, man, or Tomb Raider.
Oh no. We were just watching Indiana Jones yesterday. We're not gonna dispose why we're not Indiana Jones. But nevertheless, it was a beautiful sight to see, and I really thought it was something to bring up this morning for What's Buzzing. But here in Belize, I also understand that there's so many other things that were occurring over the past weekend.
You know, while you're away, as you mentioned earlier, a lot has happened.
Yes.
Some of that we'll reserve for the Iron News segment.
Yeah.
But yes, suffice to say that, you know, there's hardly ever a dull moment in this beautiful country of ours.
I agree. And I always have to keep up with OIE and, of course, our newscast to be able to know what's happening here at home. And I know that because I was doing that and I was away just for a short time, we also offer that for our family and friends in the diaspora. They definitely tune in. They definitely want to know what's going on back home so that they're able to talk to their friends and family that are still here. But that does it for our What's Buzzing segment this morning. And as we move on with our Monday morning show, Isani, of course, we bring you all the Eye on the News.
So going into the weekend, we spoke with Prime Minister John Briceño on 2 occasions, but more recently on Friday, ahead of a scheduled meeting that he was supposed to have along with BL representatives in Cancun, Mexico on Saturday. This would have succeeded the official funeral for the late Toledo East Area Rep Mike Espat, which we will get to a little later in our discussion.
Right.
Nonetheless, the focus has been on energy and the fact that during these hot months and the fact that energy demand has skyrocketed in a manner of speaking, and Belize being unable to meet the demands and CFE being unable to satisfy that portion of our demand, and the fact that we're experiencing these outages and what have you, as it is termed, the load shedding.
Yeah.
Right? So PM Briceño, representatives of BL, traveled to Cancun on Saturday to meet with, representatives of CFE. And of course, if I'm not mistaken, the Mexican president was also on hand for those conversations.
Yes.
To see how we're able to address this energy crisis in a meaningful and practical way. You've been out of the country for a few weeks. In your absence, we've been dealing with power outages because we're unable to meet the high demand for energy, right? And so, in the wake of the meeting that was held on Saturday, we're yet to hear officially from Belize Electricity Limited and of course the Prime Minister in terms of the outcome of those discussions. What can CFE do for us in the short term? And what are we doing for ourselves in the mid to long term? And so, going into the weekend as well, there was all the discussion about bringing the Mile 8 gas turbine up to speed so that it serves as a standby for our electricity demands. And also work that is being done to install a similar gas turbine in San Pedro to meet the island's demands.
Yeah.
Now, it is critical because for any economy to be able to thrive, we need to have energy security, right? So that when you have cities, towns, communities that are expanding and growing, you need to be able to satisfy all of those needs from a public utility perspective. So same way you have San Pedro as a booming municipality, one of the fastest growing in this country. You have to have water, access to potable water, running water. Same way you have to have, electricity, fuel, telecommunications, and all of these other things. And I'm speaking broadly, simply to say that in the context of the growing economy, we need to be able to satisfy those needs. And we're speaking specifically to electricity here. We've been saying for a while that the leaps and bounds in terms of Belize's population growth and economic growth and so on and so forth has to be able to be met with all the utilities. In this case, again, we're talking electricity. So what it was 10, 13 years ago is not what it is today. And regrettably, we haven't been able to meet the difference in terms of where we were then and where we are now in terms of our consumption for electricity, energy.
This conversation, when we're talking about Belize being a more self-sustained country, energy-wise, it brought me back to this weird memory of when the Chalillo Dam was being built. And I don't know where you were back then. I was very, very young, but I do remember the protests that was taking place. We didn't want this, it was going to ruin our environment. The conversations that we normally have with these development projects. And I said to myself, but now we're here, fast forward to 2024, where now we have to have this conversation because we need to be able to sustain ourselves properly, whether that be solar, hydro, wind. We have to be able to find a way to detach ourselves from Mexico one way or the other. At some point, I'm not talking about now, right?
Well, the idea is for us as a country and of course our energy providers to really begin to focus on renewable energy sources. So while you alluded to the building of the Chaleo Dam and hydroelectricity,
Yeah.
we also need to be able to explore bioenergy.
Yeah.
We also need to explore solar energy, wind energy, and what have you. And I'm hoping that this experience that we're going through as Belizeans serves to sort of speed up our process of moving into other alternative forms of energy. I know solar has been a discussion that we've been having. We are yet to move in that direction where we have infrastructure to provide solar electricity, solar energy to the national grid. But it's a conversation that we're having now, and as I've mentioned, I'm hoping that this is the impetus for us to be able to move in that direction where we're starting to explore other ways of securing our energy.
And not to mention make it affordable as well, because if you are somebody that runs your household with solar panels, you know that it's pricey.
Yeah.
Right? And you do have small communities in and around Belize that have taken to solar energy. Every now and again you go into a village that does not have electricity, they do have their solar panel. You have organizations like Satim that are teaching their women how to build these panels themselves and so on. So we have the capacity, we do have the growth, we have the persons that have the knowledge to be able to have this, but do we have investors? And there lies more of the problem, right? You need the money in order to be able to sustain and maintain.
I was having a conversation yesterday where in casual conversation I was being told, hey, look, because of what we've been experiencing over the past 2 weeks or so, the demand for generators gone up, right?
Of course.
And conversely, we were saying, okay, well, if people are interested now in purchasing generators to power their homes or their businesses when we have issues of power outage and what have you, then why not invest in solar energy? You buy the panels, the batteries and what have you. And so part of that conversation was, okay, well, what incentive is government giving to persons who are interested in doing so? Is it that I can purchase the panels and the batteries and perhaps get some sort of a relief or an ease in terms of the duties that are applicable to that purchase and that importation of panels and batteries into the country? These are conversations that we're having now, right? And that's at a micro level. That's just, you know, within the household or within the business. But from a larger, broader perspective, we are looking, as I've mentioned before, on the idea of alternative energy. How can we satisfy the huge demand for energy in this country? And
I know when we're talking about huge demand, a lot of it came from PM's words about our high increase in tourism here in Belize. But, you know, coming from a developing country that is trying to increase their health facilities, their energy facilities, their technological facilities. We are a hot tropical country. Our climate is hot. You need to be able to have vast amount of cooling in these facilities. And so if you have a small business, a small clinic or whatever, and your AC unit burns out or goes off because of all of these electrical outages and so forth, you have to replace that, right? And you have to be able to regenerate funds in order to have all of these facilities running. So it's, yes, we're talking about tourism at a grand scheme, but I wanted to go back to like a level of basic need. We need this source to function in society. We're just talking about electricity gone and then water gone, and it felt like we couldn't function as people because we need these sources to survive.
Indeed. So yeah, just to bring the conversation full circle once again, we're going to be looking out to hear from BL, perhaps even from the Prime Minister himself, as to what the outcome of the meeting was. Where do we go from here in terms of the immediate short term, and when do we begin to see some of the mid-term and long-term goals being implemented insofar as energy security. So it's a conversation that's ongoing, and we're looking forward to hear more from the relevant authorities where that is concerned. Switching over to what also happened over the course of the weekend. So there was the official funeral for Mike Espat. He was a pillar in politics, particularly in southern Belize. As we know, he's been an area representative for all these many years. He was one of the politicians who transcended from colonial Belize to modern Belize, and so he was there for that transition. And he was cremated.
Yes.
All right, so last week they had the parliamentary service for him, and on Saturday they had the official funeral for him.
Yes.
And so it's a fitting and proper send-off. I know the residents of Toledo East are still mourning this loss, but from a political perspective, everything is full speed ahead now because there is a by-election to be held to replace Mike Espat as area rep for Toledo East. And so to fill this vacancy, the United Democratic Party has already selected a candidate, Dennis Williams, who will be running against whomever it is from the People's United Party. And I understand that it's a race in terms of the number of persons from the PUP side who are interested in taking up this mantle. So they will more than likely go to convention to select an individual, a candidate, and then go to the by-elections, which legally is within a 90-day period.
Wow.
Right? So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to leave that there for the time being. Of course, certainly details of these stories and more we will be able to catch at 6 p.m. in our evening newscast, live on 5. If you're unable to do so, then certainly you can catch us streaming on Facebook or on YouTube. That does it for this morning's Ireland News.
And moving into our eye-opener for this morning, just to bring you a little bit of motivation on this blessed Monday, we have our eye-opener taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Create a soft place to land in your home, a refuge from the stress of the day. Our day-to-day demands can quickly take their toll on our well-being if we are not vigilant about caring for ourselves as best we can. One day we can ensure that we have an opportunity to relax and recuperate each day is to create a soft place to land when we arrive home. The landing pad, whether it is an entire room or merely a small corner of an area, can provide us with a safe and comforting refuge in which we can decompress and recover from the day's stresses. Our landing pads also act as away stations that enable us to shift our attention away from our outer world concerns and back to our inner world needs. To create a soft place to land in your home, begin by scouting potential locations, or perhaps your entire home is your landing pad, in which case you may only need to declutter. Any space in which you find it easy to let go of stress and anxiety can become your landing pad. If you appreciate the natural elements, you may find that spending time in a section of your garden or outdoor patio helps you release the day's tensions. Remember to consider noise and activity levels when choosing the site of your landing pad. Your soft place to land should inspire within you the mantra, I can breathe here. I can relax here. I know I am safe here. When you return to your home after braving worldly rigors, you will feel a subtle yet tranquil shift occur inside of you as you settle into this most personal of retreats and feel centered once again.
First to admit, my landing pad is my hammock.
I believe that. I believe that. Every time we would come back from a long weekend or so, and I would ask Isani what he did, he chilling in his hammock. So I believe that.
And at this point in time, I'm running a race with my daughter for use of the hammock.
Oh no.
But it's simply to say this, right? We need to be able to identify in our homes a safe place where we can declutter or defrag, as I always say. In my case, as someone who works long hours and my day-to-day exposure to everything that is newsworthy, when I get home in the evening, I need to be able to sort of relax and come back into a new reality, which is that of a parent and a family member per se. And for me to be able to do so, I need to identify somewhere in my house where I could just chill, even if it's for a few minutes, and then fully embrace the reality of a different setting.
Yes.
We need to be able to do that. And so listening to the eye-opener and the message being imparted by the eye-opener speaks to that, speaks to being able to say, look, you know what, maybe it's my couch. Maybe I retreat into my man cave or my bedroom or somewhere, you know, and just be able to come down from the euphoria of the day's activities.
My landing pad is, I have a big baby Yoda that's like the size of me. And it's at the corner edge of my bed. So whenever I come home and I decompress and everything, that's where I go. That's my safe space for like 10 minutes. It's so soft and fluffy and I can just sink, right? But wherever you are, whether it be a hammock or a corner in your home or the kitchen or your couch, ensure that you feel relaxed and at ease for after the day's stresses that have occurred. But we have to move on because, as you mentioned, we do work odd hours. It is a morning show and we have a long list of conversations lined up. Starting off, our first conversation is with the Minister of Health and Wellness, Minister Kevin Bernard. He will be here to give us an update within the ministry.
Our second conversation this morning is a lead up to the annual Festival of Arts. And since that is pending, we will have with us representatives from the Institute of Creative Arts to discuss with us what we can look forward to in the weeks ahead leading up to Festival of Arts.
And wrapping up our morning show, it is Pomona Village Day. So we will have with us the council members of Pomona Village to talk to us all about the festivities and events of that day. But before we get into all of that and more, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to have our conversation with the Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard. Don't go away.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
In May, make Benny's your one-stop shop for appliances. We have Sankey refrigerators, stoves, microwaves, washers and dryers, freezers, smart TVs, and so much more for up to 19% off. Get amazing deals for mom and appliances all May long, and don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase to be a part of our Homecation raffle to win $10,000 in December. Benny's, quality and savings.
13,835,700 eggs are eaten by tourists each year, fueling our thriving economy. Tourism means business.
We all have dreams that we are chasing, goals we're striving for, and loved ones we want to provide for. There is one thing that can provide you with a sense of security and empowerment. That is planning for the future and starting to save. Just as a tree starts as a seed and grows with time, your savings will grow. It's never too early or too late to take that crucial step towards securing your future. Saving is not just about putting money aside, it's a promise to yourself and your loved ones that you are taking control of your destiny. It all begins with a plan and the commitment to save, no matter how big or how small. Educate yourself about different savings options to help you achieve your plans. Remember, no matter where you are on your journey, the key is to start. Every step you take towards planning and saving is a step towards empowerment and peace of mind. Talk to your loved ones about your goals and dreams. Create a roadmap for a brighter future. That tree you planted now provides shade and shelter for your dreams. Embrace the power of planning for your future and starting to save. Your dreams are waiting, and your journey to a brighter tomorrow begins today. Plan today, save for tomorrow.
A message from the Central Bank of Belize. For more information, visit our website at centralbank.org.bz.
And welcome back. With us this morning for our first conversation is the Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Kevin Bernard. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isana. Good morning, April.
And we, nice. We're going to be discussing all things health. I know there have been quite some developments in your ministry. You're here to share with us all of these latest happenings. What I want for us to begin with, first of all, Minister, is recent news of a recall for one of the vaccines that I'm certain many of us Belizeans took during the first phase of the vaccination process in the COVID pandemic. And that's the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. What are your thoughts? And from a ministry perspective, where do we stand locally where the recall is concerned?
Well, one of the things, let me just point out, however, though, Isani, that from my checks, as in any medication, in any type of, there will always be some level of side effects in some cases. Now, from the information I have, the AstraZeneca vaccines were recalled, not necessarily because of the side effects. That is one component of it.
Yeah.
However, the real reason for the recall has been because there have been zero demand for the vaccines, and there were many in supply. And I know that from the information I have received as well, and I did check with my with our counterparts at WHO, PAHO, in terms of what is the reality behind all of this. And what we found out is that yes, the company has decided to do the recall. Yes, there have been some issues of thrombosis in some cases. However, there is nothing in there to say that the vaccine hasn't proven its efficacy. Yeah. And so, from the understanding that I have, while this decision was made, it's not something to be alarming about or to be frantic about. As you know, even in Belize, the demand for vaccine has also dropped tremendously. COVID has gone past us, but that doesn't say COVID still doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We still have the Pfizer vaccine in country. I don't think we have any of the AstraZeneca. Those that we had expired, and I think we had disposed of those. So that gives us that relief. However, like in anything, you have to, you take everything from its position, and so we are following up in terms of, we haven't had any major case or cases to say we have had problems as is related in some countries, and so I am happy that is not the case in Belize. But like I said, we follow the guidelines, and we don't have any of these AstraZeneca in supply that is valid to distribute to any of our citizens. So, and if it was, we would have not been able to continue with that supply.
On to another quick point. You're recently back from Jamaica, where Belize, among other countries, was acknowledged and perhaps rightfully so for the considerable reduction in mother-to-child HIV transmission. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about achieving that milestone.
Well, one of the things I think that I must herald and thank all our healthcare workers, especially our public health nurses, our community health workers, and the team behind the scenes as well, or person in the lab, because remember, this is a team effort. And of course the support of PAHO, who has assisted Belize. The EMTCT program started way back in 2004. And I know in 2010 there was a relaunch of the same program because you had to add syphilis at that time.
Yes.
Where there was, we were looking in the region that there was a rise in syphilis in mother to child. And so it has been a lot of hard work, preventative care, early diagnosis, making sure young mothers with children are able to, you're getting the necessary access to care. And so those are the efforts that were put in place, and it's constant monitoring. Now, the elimination of mother-to-child transmission and syphilis and HIV and syphilis, as I said, it was not an easy feat. It took a lot of hard work, took a lot of commitment, it took a lot of dedication. And that's one of the reasons why, while you are certified, now, and Belize joined 17 other countries, I think, in total, with the certification of the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis. So we were in Jamaica last week. We joined along with Jamaica and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who are the 3 other countries in the region to have been certified. What we must do now is remain vigilant to make sure that our surveillance system continues to focus on how we continue to prevent any further transmission. And when we say elimination, it doesn't mean that they may not still exist some level. Because there are some people that refuse to go to the facilities to get checked, maybe because of stigma, all these things. But our responsibility as the Ministry of Health is to ensure that we reach out, we get out there, and that's one of the responsibilities of our public health nurses, our community health workers. They are the ones that have been on the ground. And then, of course, our surveillance team that ensure that we are monitoring what is happening across the country. And so every 4 years, we now need to go back. So in the next 4 years, we need to ensure that our validation, our certification remains. And so the efforts must be not because, oh, we are certified, we chair and all that. It's now to get the job done to make sure we keep the elimination status. Similar to the malaria status that we did last year. So that in 2 consecutive years, as highlighted by the director of PAHO, Belize has really gone leaps and bounds in terms of many public health measures. We are now, one of the commitments we are talking about is how can we eliminate cervical cancer. That's another issue, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of commitment. That's one of the reason why we launched the HPV vaccines as well, so that we can start to see much less effects of women especially, with cervical cancer. And so there's a lot going on, however, Isani and April, in terms of the Ministry of Health. And sometimes a lot of these things are not publicly known. But a lot of work has been done. I must commend, and I know I can't single out people when it comes to all the efforts, but I must commend, I must commend Dr. Baer, who has been the brainchild behind all of this. I must commend Nurse DeVille and all the other public health nurses, our community health workers. As I said, Nurse DeVille was the one that joined me. Dr. Baer was out at another seminar in Brazil, and so she wasn't able to join us. At the end of the day, it is them, those persons who are out there every day doing the work that has allowed us to do this. And of course, the person who have been affected that are able to come to the facilities and get the necessary treatment and attention and willing to go through the diagnostic so that we can be able to prevent mothers from having any transmission of HIV and syphilis. And so it's a big win for Belize and something that we must celebrate. But like I said, we must also continue to remain vigilant so that the our people can ensure that we are free from this issue, and we continue to work hard at the ministry to ensure that everybody understands what this means. One of the persons when I was speaking to in Jamaica said, you know what, we need to take this certificate, photocopy it, and place it in every public facility across the country to remind them we have gotten this far. Let us not regress. Let us continue to push harder so we could continue with the great work that we have been doing.
One of the, and I'm glad you touched a little bit on the ways that the ministry works along with other entities, but I kind of wanted you to emphasize a little bit more on it, because we often speak to different organizations, different NGOs, that they are fighting a particular cancer, a particular disease, and we know that they work instrumentally with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Can you talk a little bit about those partnerships and how it actually does work?
Well, you know that when it comes to the Ministry of Health, and health on a whole in our country, we have a direct relation with PAHO WHO. They provide a lot of technical support to Belize, a lot of training. We have where as well there's programs under the PAHO program budget that we benefit from. We access opportunities through the pandemic fund. There's also, we also get benefits from other organizations, the IDB, for example, World Bank, where there are sometimes concessionary loans, small loans granted to Belize, or even where the government then identify needs that are important for public health issues that we access. But our direct partner definitely is PAHO WHO, where we work very closely with them. In fact, through Dr. Barbosa, the new director, one of his commitment was to see how we could increase support to the regions, and Belize has gotten the approval through the PAHO office to have more technical support personnel. So there's much more things that we are able to access support from. While in Jamaica as well, I had a brief bilateral meeting with the director, and one of the discussions that we spoke about is how can we engage now with more in pushing digital health reform within the country. As you are aware, we are right now working on a health reform project. We have to look at the whole health sector in Belize, private, public, and how are we going to ensure that we can tie all of these things. NHI is rolling out. Where does Ministry of Health fit in as the regulator, the providers of NHI? So we have to find a balance way. So we're looking at various models. When I was in Chile, we got a quick brief of how Chile system works. They work totally different from us, where in the case of Chile, they don't provide hospital services. They are only public health services. And so they only look at vector-borne issues and HIV and these issues.
How effective is that model?
It has its benefits. It has proven positive for them, but it comes at additional cost.
Yeah.
You see, so that's what I'm saying. We have to look at areas where that we tailor to our country needs, to our economic conditions at the same time. But yes, we work closely with PAHO. We work closely with the IDB. We have worked with World Bank. We have COMISCA, which is another group from the ministry, body of the Ministry of Health and health ministers from the region of the Central American region and Dominican Republic, where there's also the support that we get. And I'm trying to remember the name of this organization, the Global Fund. They have been very instrumental, and I want to thank them too, because they have been very supportive, especially in the HIV prevention and care. But we get support from them on a yearly basis in the tunes of millions of dollars in terms of support. So all of these efforts has an impact, because the budget that the Ministry of Health has alone will not be able to sustain all of these type of initiatives that we have.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at outside sources. We have to look at support from, we may not have all the necessary skill set in the ministry that are able to address many of the other things. And so that's why with the technical support that comes in from PAHO, they are able to add to the many human resource gaps that we have in terms of addressing some of these issues. And so it ties in together when we work together with these organizations, because at the end of the day, the focus is on health, health equity, health access, health improvement, and to make sure that we have our Belizean people living healthier lives.
Minister, can you provide us with an update on 2 projects? I know there was groundbreaking for the San Pedro Hospital, and of course the monies that were earmarked for the construction of a new hospital facility in Belmopan. Where are we with those respective initiatives?
Well, as you know, the work for the contract has already been signed with the one in San Pedro, so that is ongoing now. In terms of the one for the Belmopan, the new tertiary hospital, we are almost there finalizing the land. One of the things is that what we had found out when they did this study, Kabe did the analysis along with us as well, and the technical team went out and looked at the 2 proposed locations. One of the locations proposed was initially some property closer to the university.
Yeah.
But when you talk about access, road access, the ease of transporting somebody by flight, we wanted, and then where you have a closer access to the actual polyclinic, where the current Western Regional is.
Yes.
The technical people are saying that, you know what, we may need to have looked at a different location. And so that was done, and so we had the cabinet, it was taken to cabinet. I know Dr. Musa and I think was Dr. Polanco who had gone to the cabinet to make the presentation. I was away at Chile at that moment when the paper was presented. So they had to represent me. Minister Mai was holding over for me at the time. However, the paper was taken to cabinet. Cabinet agreed that we need to then go back and look at and come back with a position. And so that has been done now, where the Ministry of Natural Resources are identified the proper location that we need, where we are able to build a facility. I think we are now at that stage where we are finalizing that, and once we have that in place, then the funds will start to kick in so that we could get the tender going for the people to bid, and then the work can start. We are hoping that we can do that no later than the end of this year, so that construction can start at that new hospital. It will take some time to construct. We are looking at possibly 2 to 3 years, but we want to ensure that that process is done. And so the little kick was the fact that we needed to ensure that the right location we had. And when the first location was identified, as some obstacles that were there, we had to go back to the drawing board and say, you know what, this is where we feel is the best location. And so that's the stage we are. In terms of San Pedro, I said, that is now already ongoing. The site has already been identified, contract already signed, and I think construction is already started.
So these are projects that are ongoing right now. Let's talk about projects that are in the pipeline to hopefully get started next year. And
There's many other things happening in terms of the public health sector and the Ministry of Health. You are aware now that we recently acquired the CT scan for KHMH from and that has been tremendously supporting the KHMH and the general public. In terms of the Central Medical Lab, it was highlighted as well. A few weeks ago, we did the groundbreaking for the retrofitting of the Central Medical Lab, another key component. And the goal for the people at the Central Medical Lab is to ensure that that lab also becomes certified. And so that's the goal, that's the setting. We want to ensure that we improve the conditions at the facility, but add more equipments and laboratory equipments within the. But not only at Central Medical Lab, we are also focusing at looking at strengthening our regions and our laboratory work at our regions. We are doing all of these things to ensure that we could strengthen surveillance and have a better care of service to our Belizean people. Because if you are in Corozal, for example, and you have to go and take a specific test, and you have to wait until you go to CML, and then CML takes a few days before the results come back. What doctors want is where you're able to get the analysis done quick. So if we are able to strengthen our regions, strengthen our facilities with having them do some of the necessary tests that we don't burden only CML, then it allows us to get better results at a faster pace. That's one. Our central medical store, we have it in the budget. These are projects that are coming on stream where we should be building a proper facility, centralized facility with the necessary inventory system in place And I'm making that known now that it's going to be a state-of-the-art system store that will house all of our facilities. Currently, what happens is that suppliers house these items for us, and then they distribute. We want to bring that into one system so that it's managed properly. It's all about accounting purposes, making sure that we have proper inventory system. What is used right now is all right, but it's not as what we really want it to be. And so that's one of the reasons why we are saying we need to build that. And of course, there are other facilities that are being looked at. The Northern Regional Hospital, for example, that's another area, a new hospital that has been, through the study of Kabe, identified that we should build a new hospital in Orange Walk. We're talking about one in, I believe it was in Dangriga, San Ignacio. We've done some retrofitting in Corozal and through the PAHO project, the EU project and the UN projects. Some of these facilities has gotten some upgrades. We are looking at, in terms of another project, the Hopkins Community Health Center. These are things that are immediate that we need to address. And then the bigger projects, of course, are longer term projects that are on stream, are in plans, but we are doing all the necessary studies that needs to be done in Ireland, whether we construct at the same facility or we look at new land space to build a new facility. Those are the decisions that the team, the technical people at Kabe are working with us, going around the country. I know they were here a few weeks ago doing that, and they did a study at Belize City at KHMH as well. Because even KHMH, we need to look at in terms of what do we do with KHMH? Do we expand? Do we build a new facility for them? In terms of providing more access to healthcare. And as we roll out NHI, there's going to be much more need to look at the facilities, not only the infrastructure-wise. The human resource gaps that exist is another issue. So we are looking at that as well. And in terms of retaining our employees, because our nurses, I was at the nurses conference this last week, and it was highlighted that from the amount of nurses who leave, who migrate to other countries, you know, it's quite a number.
Yes.
And so when you're losing your workforce in that aspect to bigger countries who are poaching them because of better salaries, we have to look at ways and means how we are going to retain them. So we are looking at retention packages for nurses. We have recently done the adjustments for the pay scale for pharmacists, because again, that was another difficult area of getting pharmacists within the public sector system. So we have done that. Now we're looking at the proposal for our lab and medical technologists and our vector and public health inspectors. So we're trying our very best at the ministry to strengthen that side of the management in terms of our workforce, so that we can continue to have a cadre of staff readily available to be able to provide the efficient service that we want to provide.
So two things, Minister. One is the ongoing brain drain, as we've alluded to, with doctors and nurses leaving Belize to pursue their career in healthcare elsewhere. Canada is one of them. How do you propose to retain these medical professionals when I think their primary issue has to do, first of all, with salaries and benefits? I think in any situation where work is concerned, a man has to make a financial decision, an economic consideration as to what works for him or her in that given situation. And if we're looking at a situation where our minimum wage is at $5 at this point, it's not to say that these individuals are being paid at the minimum, but I'm just using that as sort of a threshold. And somewhere else is offering several times that. And they are saying, well, look, we're not getting the kind of benefits in Belize that is being offered to us elsewhere. If you make an economic consideration, naturally you will lean towards what works better for you in that situation. How do you sort of convince doctors and nurses that Belize is where you want to remain?
Let me say this in a different angle. For me, we should focus on the 88% of our nurses and doctors who remain in the country to provide a service to the Belizean people. So those are the ones we have to work on. Those are the ones we need to ensure that, as I said, in terms of looking at the compendium of allowances that are given. When Nurse Bell made the presentation at the nurses conference, it was received with much great joy from the nurses across the room with the presentation that was made in terms of what we're doing as a ministry in terms of the danger allowance, the uniform allowances, the extended work allowance that the nurses have to go. Some of them are burnt out. And so we have to look at how we are going to provide them that incentive so that they could continue to work while attracting other ones. And so one of the things we are doing this year in terms of providing more specialization in nursing as well, because another area we need to look at. We have decided to partner with UA and other organizations to provide master's degree scholarships for nurses that are going to be specialized, like anesthesiologist, nurse, and so forth. Yeah. And so these are things that we are looking at in terms of strengthening our medical doctors within the system too. We have also gotten the cooperation of Cuba, for example. You know, we send people to Cuba, but we have asked them for more specialization. In fact, this year we sent, I think, 5 doctors to be specialized, 2 in nephrologists to become nephrologists. I think there's another in pediatric doctor. And so these are things that we are looking at to strengthen. And we are constantly looking at other ways and other countries that we can look at. I know we have had engagement recently with El Salvador. We are also talking to Mexico to see how we can get our medical profession or our health professionals access to some of these scholarships out there in order to strengthen. But yes, we have to also look at the fact that when we provide all of these training for the public sector, we need to retain them. People always say, well, you have to bond them. Yes, but a lot of our people have been on the bond, but we have to make sure that the mechanism that is put in place to ensure that they remain in country is also enforced.
Are there vacancies for these types of professions in the country?
Yes, there are vacancies.
Okay.
In fact, like I said, when you look at the nursing profession, just alone in Belize, the nursing profession, we have like about 26% of vacant posts for nursing alone across the country. And there is still need for other specialization within the country. We have a lot of gaps. Gynecologists, for example, I'm talking the public sector, but when you look at even the private sector, there has been some gaps. We need more nephrologists in country. I mean, a lot of people are suffering from diabetes, while our goal is to ensure that we reduce NCDs as well. But these are things that we have to really look at. And so when you look at the whole spectrum of the health sector and the cadre of staff that you need to cover the needs that the people are being affected by, the issues that people are being affected by, then there's need for us to look at really. And that's one of the reasons why the government and the Prime Minister, I must thank the Prime Minister for that, has increased our budget. Because we want to ensure that the retention of our staff to be able to provide necessary service. It's not about increasing the budget just to go and build a facility and you can't house it. You're somewhere coming from. It's about making sure that you put in the necessary policies and plans in place so that we could have more staff engaged, more nurses, more specialized doctors to be able to provide a more efficient service to the division.
My second point that I wanted to touch on, in line with this conversation that we're having, has to do with the relationship between the KHMH Workers Union and the ministry. It's several months since they were up in arms over the shortage on medical equipment for them to carry out their work, in terms of the various risks and exposure that they have to deal with and so on. Where are we with that in terms of being able to perhaps strengthen that relationship between the government and, of course, these workers?
Well, let me correct that. It's not an issue with the government or the ministry. The union is representative of the KHMH. Now, there's two different things we have to think about. Of course, we as a regulator, we as a ministry, we have to come in and we have to find a way how we can be the balance between the Carl Hirschner Memorial Hospital Authority and with the KHMH Union. There have always been issues. This has been for too long. But at the same time, it has to be genuine when it comes to addressing the issues, because you cannot just have the union just, let me put it this, I want to choose my words carefully because I know how these things go. And I want to put it in the fact that we can have sometimes our differences in matters. But when you sit around the table as a member of the board, a representative of the union, decisions are made. And then just to go back now and take the different message to your union members, then it kind of don't bode well. A lot of these issues that you see that was brought up before has been addressed. It has been addressed. When the union requested a meeting with us, and I know we have a follow-up meeting with them with the FinSec to discuss their pension issues, and they wrote to me and the Prime Minister, but and I did say to them that we have to give the FinSec the opportunity because he has to be at that meeting. Yeah. We have representative of the ministry, we have the representative of the Ministry of Finance, we have to have representative from KHMH, and of course the union that will sit together and look at all of those issues. If you have seen over the past few months, you haven't heard that issue. We have been able to try to ensure that we provide as much necessary supplies and support and resources to all of our facilities, including KHMH. In fact, I will tell you this, that when we looked at the need for KHMH with that CT scan, for example, that was something that they needed badly. So when the initial stage started was that would KHMH pay for it? We felt at the ministry they can't afford it. If we have KHMH dip into their little resources to try and finance a CT scan, they will run into more problems. So I went to cabinet again and again, thank my cabinet colleagues for supporting. Whenever I go to cabinet, I always have the support because healthcare is important to all of us in the government. And so we were able to get that. Through the support of the Ministry of Tourism, Minister Marla and his team, we were able to also get funding. I think about $700,000 were invested, is invested to upgrade the emergency system unit at the KHMH. So there's a lot of things we are working right now in terms of improvement. And then they themselves, as the board, have been looking at areas that they are working at the KHMH. So the relationship that exists between the KHMH union and the KHMH authority and the ministry, as you asked, we have that open dialogue. And that's one of the things that we have said to them. We are open to a discussion. We are open to ensure that we can solve issues. When I took over the Ministry of Health, there was issues with the nursing and so forth, matters that had to be addressed. We were able to work on that. And so you heard that went behind. There was no more issues. But we gradually have to always look at how we are going to ensure that our staff feel comfortable, that they are working in a good environment, that they are getting what they need to be able to provide the service. So I don't blame them when they complain. And I always say to or even the regions, we have an open door policy. If there's an issue that you feel aggrieved about, come to us. Let us hear. Don't be ashamed. In fact, in the Northern Regional Hospital, for example, sometimes you hear things on social media. People text me. They complain about certain things. And I will always be the one who don't jump and say, oh, this is what I do. Let us find out what is the root of this issue, you know, and then that's how you dialogue. That's how we do that. So there's a lot of things that we are doing to build that communication within the union at KHMH and the government. So we remain open and we remain frank with them to say this is what we can do when we can, and this is what we can't do if we cannot do so.
You brought up NHI earlier, and I did want to. This is one of my final questions. Updates about the national health insurance. How can people access it? Where is it being accessed? I know that there were conversations about bringing it to San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Is that still happening?
Yes. Well, remember, right now we are working on the north side and the islands. Yes. So I believe the through the NHIC committee, because I don't sit on the NHIC committee, and NHI files directly under the purview of the Ministry of Finance. While it's a health service, because remember it's contract service both in the private and public sector. Yeah. So even government has to bid to be able to. So from what I understand, that the bidding process is still in place. There were some issues with some documents that were submitted that the committee felt that has to go back. They are asking the persons that tendered to resubmit some other documentations, and I thought that has delayed a bit of the timing. However, I understand that the committee is trying to make sure that we could get this done within the next few weeks. That's in the north side, Belize City, and San Pedro and Kikoka, where then that NHI services will be able to be provided for those persons. We already rolled out in Orange Walk. So in Orange Walk, for example, there's only 3 providers, 3 private sector providers. Through the government, we are working on identifying again where we could build a polyclinic for Orange Walk to be able to provide NHI service as well for the public sector. And so just as that, it goes along the different countries. Now in the West, the Prime Minister has made the commitment that early next year, we would want to roll out NHI in the rest of the Kaya district. So that will then complete the rollout for the entire country, benefiting every Belizean who signs up for the service. And trust me, NHI has really bring a great benefit in terms of providing that primary care service to the Belizean people. And I encourage our Belizeans who are out there who have not signed up for NHI to take advantage of it and sign up at the various locations that where you reside in. Once there's an NHI provider, you can sign up and take advantage of this very, very important health initiative.
Wonderful. As we are wrapping up, Minister, there is also this collaboration that you all have with the Ministry of Education in terms of ensuring that we get our health and safety regulations out to our students. What other campaigns can we expect for the coming year?
Well, you know, one of the things, and I should have touched on that at the beginning, that one of the important factors that we are working with this Ministry of Education is the healthy eating, healthy living in schools, and we are doing that gradually, the gradual ban on sugary and sweetened drinks within the school system. And we have gotten the support of nearly every institution across the country. So I really thank them too, because you know sometimes you have barriers in terms of any initiative that you push. But the Ministry of Education, the Minister and his team quickly as well jumped on it. We launched our nutrition policy last year, and we are working with that policy in terms of putting in that part of the plan in terms of the phase out that we are doing. That's one aspect in terms of how we're working with the Ministry of Education. But there's many other things that we do. We do a lot of outreach programs to the school system, working with the Ministry of Education in terms of getting health education. I know that there's now a health education curriculum within the school system. And these are ways that children are now learning more about their health and what is important. And so this is a very good thing that they have done to implement health education within the school system. And the ministry is working very closely with the Ministry of Education. But I cannot leave by not pointing out something very important that I know will have a major impact. It's the tobacco control legislations. I know that I have seen a draft copy of the tobacco control legislation. As you know, regionally, globally, that's another issue that people have been talking about. Countries have committed to ensure that they can look at the tobacco legislation in terms of reducing the amount of people in smoking and all of these issues. So I will just highlight that we have a draft that was sent back from the AG office to the ministry. We are now reviewing that, and we are going to continue. And I want to thank the people at NDAC who were very instrumental in making sure that this legislation has now we have a final draft which we are now reviewing, and then hopefully at some point, as I said, maybe by next year, after I lobby with Cabinet and our colleagues to see we can pass. This is a very important legislation. Once we do that, Belize again will be another achievement for Belize in making sure that we are looking it in the right direction. We are protecting our citizens. We are trying to ensure that we focus on issues that will improve health across the country.
Thank you so much, Minister,
Thank
for
you for
dropping by, giving us these updates. I know that there's a lot more that we need to discuss, so you have to come back and joining us again on another Monday morning. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Raj.
And we are going to take another break. When we come back, it's all about the Festival of Arts. We have the folks in from the Institute of Creative Arts to tell us more about it. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
And welcome back. Joining us for our second conversation, we have the director of the Institute of Creative Arts, Ms. Kim Vasquez, here to talk to us all about the Festival of Arts 2024. We know it don't start. Give us the calendar of events since February, I believe.
Yes, so preparations begin early in February because first up is always Preschool Festival of Arts. And that one takes place in March along with Child Stimulation Month. And then after that, we move along into the secondary Festival of Arts, somewhere after that. This year it was a little tricky because, you know, Easter came a little earlier. And secondary normally goes first as well because we try to accommodate the way they're having to deal with their CXCs and graduation and exams happen. So they usually go instead of primary, and so we just really wrapped up with secondary, and now this week we begin with the primary school Festival of Arts across the districts.
Tell us how this works, because
Yes.
I normally watch it on Facebook or on TV whenever we get the little clips. How do you all engage these students, and how do you capture all of these different schools?
Oh, there is a whole background machinery, and I think we really have to always highlight our partnership with the Ministry of Education. That is the way the Festival of Arts work. You know, it was revived, you know, this is its third revival actually in history. And the second revival was, you know, like I said, Miss Beverly Smith Lopez, when she came back, and it became then a Children's Festival of Arts. Well, we don't call it that. We changed the name, and now it's the Belize National Festival of Arts. But it is essentially a children's festival of art, and it really speaks to, you know, to the engagement of youth in the performing arts. And so this really works well with the Ministry of Education. And so at every level, we have coaches in each school. There is a designated person or teacher, and then that teacher takes back the training, takes back the information to other teachers, and they get ready, they get their items ready. And in the districts, we work along with the district offices there for the Ministry of Education, and that is how it all starts. You know, like I said, every district will have a preschool festival, a primary festival, and a secondary festival. And since reviving in 2022, we did one virtual during COVID in 2020 because we were actually getting ready.
Yes.
Yes, everything was already prepared. All of the costumes were being made. From one day to the next, you know, the poor preschool children, they did not get to perform, and then we went virtual. But again, coming back last year to a true Festival of Arts, we started to have simultaneous festivals. We made some changes internally. We have one body of adjudicators now that move around the country, and so that allows for Festival of Arts to happen simultaneously. That means that you can have Festival of Arts in Orange Walk and Sutton Creek taking place on the same day. Yes.
How do we measure the effectiveness and the lasting impact of Festival of Arts on children going through the education system, and for adults who decide to give back by way of arts?
So many people I know within the arts in Belize have their foundation or can recall their early performances in Festival of Arts. And whether or not I think you pursue any of the disciplines after that, that somehow does something for you. That experience of being on stage, of preparing for Festival of Arts, and then if you get goal of advancing to the National Showcase, the Golden Showcase, I think that is really one of the most memorable things we have as Belizean children, where, you know, the stage is concerned. And so to measure it, I can think of many artists, as I said, over the years that came through the Festival of Arts or were involved, especially by the time they got to the secondary level. Even now, we have a young lady up in, her name is Jaden, up in Orange Walk. Beautiful vocals, and we see that progression of them returning. So much so that by the time they get to secondary, they have identified I into drama, or I into dance, or I into music, and they are coming by their own as soloists now. And so I really think that that for us is the gauge, and we know that, you know, this is really speaking, like I said, to opening up experiences for them in the performing arts, and hopefully they will say, okay, you know, I really love this. This is something that I want to continue to do aside from the Festival of Arts.
What do you look for when you are looking at these students? I know you're talking about, you know, different liberal theatric arts, but what is it that a student or a child has to do in order to perform in the Festival of Arts?
That's a great question. And really what comes to mind was some of the revision work we've been doing behind the scenes. Again, coming out of COVID really allowed us to really reflect and to look at how we want to reimagine Festival of Arts going forward and make it relevant to children in contemporary times as they are today. And we started by looking at the preschool Festival of Arts. And we looked at what we had there before. We said, you know what? We want this preschool Festival of Arts to be more about fun, about more introducing them to the arts and getting them to move and to have fun through the arts. And to be less about worrying about all of these very tedious rubrics. I mean, yes, they are still adjudicated as all the different sections of the Festival of Arts. And yes, we do see, even at the preschool level, children demonstrating remarkable budding talent. But we wanted to change it, and again, as I said, and also to see how we could show teachers that they can use the arts where language is concerned, where movement is concerned, motor skills. And again, to focus as well, not only on the performing, but on handicraft and the visual arts at a very early age. And again, developing hand-eye coordination and colors and different things like that. All of that has to do or speak to the experiences we want where the Festival of Arts is concerned.
I know that I was having a conversation with a friend that says everybody's an artist in their own way, and the Festival of Arts kind of brings it out if you really put your mind to it, right? What are some of the more memorable performances that you can? I know you've been at ICA for quite some time. What are some of the memorable?
Yes, I remember one year, and there are some schools that will consistently do really well. I guess it is a part of their school culture, and they anticipate that they will do really well. And then there are some schools that, you know, we would miss them for a while and not see them for a time. And this speaks to a school from down in Barranco. And we heard that Barranco had one goal, and that they were coming to the national, to the Golden Showcase. And when they arrived, they had a performance that I will always remember. They managed to incorporate the women, the elders from their community as live music, which is totally allowed because the women were not performing, they were there to sing. And it was a reenactment of the Dugu. And they brought even a rooster on that stage. Afterwards, they were complaining and said, Miss Kim, they say we don't have animal cruelty and all kinds of things, right? But it was so realistic, so authentic. But what really I remember to this day was the way the different cultures were integrated. Because down in Toledo, again, we have this melting pot. And you had children of Maya heritage in that performance, East Indians. It was just like this cross-section, but they were all focused on this one cultural practice. And they did so well, the music and the falling down and all of that. And to this day, that one stands out in my mind.
I mean, I had to ask because I watch these kids, and of course they're very talented, and you often wonder how they get the concepts and all of that stuff in. But you do have one more to go, which is the primary school, which is the largest one.
Yes.
How are you all preparing for this?
It is the largest one. Many people don't know. Again, some districts are bigger. The Belize district also has the keys, and so we also have to factor in the logistics of San Pedro and Kikaker. Not always easy, but again, we see really outstanding items coming out of Kikaker and San Pedro year after year. We also take into consideration that entries come to us not from only within the schools, the San Pedro Dance Academy. Any youth organization or program, private music programs actually participate in Festival of Arts as well, that's fine. they enter through the same process. But yes, this is the biggest one. Belmopan has 2 festivals. I mean, Cayo actually, sorry. Cayo has a Belmopan Festival of Arts and a Cayo Festival of Arts. And you know, it's all really exciting. And what I am here, I guess, today is to commend the parents and the teachers that continue to believe in the Festival of Arts, especially in this revival phase that we are in. We are seeing a small increase in the participation of secondary schools. Another encouraging thing we're seeing is that a lot of visual art is coming in this year. And we really want to, again, just highlight to the public that you can tune in live when we reach the Golden Showcase. You can follow all the performances at the Bliss. Every day we'll have two districts being high. And then again, when they reach there, this is a new feature we have starting last year, is that when they reach the Golden Showcase, they are adjudicated one final time. And that is where they awarded Best in Dance for their district, Best in Drama, Best in Music. And this year we anticipate a really nice visual arts exhibit, and we hope to be able to give some awards for that as well.
How do you keep the Festival of Arts fresh and vibrant, considering the fact that this is an annual event?
Yes.
One could argue that it's easy to rest on one's laurels and say, okay, well, we'll seek to do the same thing next year that we've done this year. But how do you keep it as dynamic as possible?
Again, this really speaks to the revival work. I could remember maybe 10 years ago, we did not have spoken word, a category. And we at one point we had to get to the sit down and do rubrics to be able to adjudicate dub poetry or spoken word. You know, and again, this is like I said, we want that awareness, any genre. When it comes to dance, any type of dance, if you like hip hop, if you are into music and you want to rap, all of that is welcome in the Festival of Arts. We want you to do it, but we want you to do it well. And another thing that we have been really looking at in this period is preservation, because that is another aspect of the Festival of Arts that sometimes gets overlooked. All of the folk and traditional dances, the marimba music. We had an excellent performance last week from Tumulkin. And so this is how some of these traditions are passed on from elders within their community. And so for the past year, we have been really, not really pushing, but saying, just giving a reminder that language is also welcome in the Festival of Arts. Quechua, Mopan, Yucatec, Spanish, Creole, Garifuna, you're welcome to bring performances, write your own poems. If you're a teacher or a student, you can do your own drama. You're free to sing a song in any of these languages as well.
So now that we have the primary school, it's starting this week, I imagine. How long are you taking for this, and then when is the Golden Case?
Yes. So the Golden Showcase, we have the primary starting on Tuesday this week. There's none today, and then actually we have to extend, because of Teachers' Day, into next week. Remember I told you it's coming close this year.
Yes.
But we love it. All of that adds to the momentum. So we have the primary finishing next Tuesday, and by Saturday we are straight into Golden Showcase. The preschool Golden Showcase traditionally opens on a Saturday, and that is because all those little children that got goal at the district level from very, very rural areas sometimes, they have to be accompanied by a mom or a guardian on the bus. And so the opening for the Golden Showcase will be on Saturday, May 25th at the Bliss Center. We have opening ceremony and straight into an adorable Golden Showcase with the preschoolers from around the country. And then immediately after that, the week after, is all Golden Showcase, leading right up to our closing concert on Saturday, the 1st of June.
Wow. So the 25th, May 25th is for the preschool.
Yes.
That finishes at like 5 p.m.
No, it's actually done by maybe like 1 o'clock the latest.
Okay.
Yes, right? They're short and sweet, the preschool performances, but again, there are some that, you know, we've not been able to go to all at ICA. You know, we have our team of adjudicators, but we know every time we go and we see one, we're looking forward to seeing that performance again in the Golden Showcase, because they did so well.
So as we wrap up, where can we access or these performances if we can't come to the Bliss?
Well, for the Golden Showcase, you can look forward to our live stream on the Institute of Creative Arts page, and again on the rest of the niche social media as well. And we normally try to get highlights out as well to the media as well in the evening, but definitely you can tune in to the live stream, and if you don't catch it, you can go back at the end of the day and look at it at your leisure. It will be up there on the page as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Vasquez, for coming in. The Festival of Arts continues for the rest of the month, and then the first Golden Showcase is on May 25th. We are going to take another break, and when we come back, it's all about Pomona Day. And the village council members are here to tell us more about that. Stick around. Don't go away.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMAL. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money, and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
I'm David Humes, this is Vanessa Humes. We own Littleville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
In May, make Benny's your one-stop shop for appliances. We have Sankey refrigerators, stoves, microwaves, washers and dryers, freezers, smart TVs, and so much more for up to 19% off. Get amazing deals for mom and appliances all May long, and don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase to be a part of our Homecation raffle to win $10,000 in December. Benny's, quality and savings.
13 million, 835,700 eggs are eaten by tourists each year, fueling our thriving economy. Tourism means business.
We all have dreams that we are chasing, goals we're striving for, and loved ones we want to provide for. There is one thing that can provide you with a sense of security and empowerment. That is planning for the future and starting to save. Just as a tree starts as a seed and grows with time, your savings will grow. It's never too early or too late to take that crucial step towards securing your future. Saving is not just about putting money aside. It's a promise to yourself and your loved ones that you are taking control of your destiny. It all begins with a plan and the commitment to save, no matter how big or how small. Educate yourself about different savings options to help you achieve your plans. Remember, no matter where you are on your journey, the key is to start. Every step you take towards planning and saving is a step towards empowerment and peace of mind. Talk to your loved ones about your goals and dreams. Create a roadmap for a brighter future. That tree you planted now provides shade and shelter for your dreams. Embrace the power of planning for your future and starting to save. Your dreams are waiting, and your journey to a brighter tomorrow begins today. Plan today, save for tomorrow.
A message from the Central Bank of Belize. For more information, visit our website at centralbank.org.bz.
And welcome back. We are having our final conversation for this Monday morning. Joining us in studio for Pomona Village weekend, because it's not a day anymore, it's a weekend. We have Travis Raimundo, who is a village council from the village council at Pomona. We also have beside him Miss Jocelyn Williams, who is a teacher at St. Matthew's Anglican School. And next to her we have Aaron Ferguson, who is a committee member for the Pomona Village Day Commission, right? Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, what is Pomona Village Day? What was the brainchild behind this machine?
Thanks for having us. I must say a pleasant good morning to Belize and the world. Beside you know, the whole orchestration of having Pomona Day is streamed from you know, several activities within the Stancriquest constituency, whereby the Honorable Radwell Ferguson had find it very important, you know, for these villages to come alive. Too often we see whereby, you know, all the activities happening within the urban communities, and we had found it very important to start come alive within these villages. Yeah. Not only that it comes alive, but it brings entrepreneur activities within these villages, whereby, you know, people can bring out their local dishes and other arts and other things to be on display. You know, so we had found it very important to do a tour of the villages, and that is 26 communities that we have in Stancriquest. Oh. So it's all started out by having that activity. It started out with Mullins River Day, then it went on to City River Day, that was Easter Monday, and we're having Pomona Day. Georgetown Day, that is this weekend, and thereafter Pomona, same bite, and it continues a long list of activities within the Stancriquest constituency. So as of from then to now, there are never a dull moment within our region as it relates to activities happening. But Pomona Day, this is the 3rd annual Pomona Day, and you know, every year we improve as it relates to the activities and happening within that community as it relates to putting Pomona on the map. It is a well-known community. I believe each and every one of us, if we don't have ancestor that has work in Pomona, you know, they must know of Pomona, and there is even a song of Pomona. So Pomona is no stranger to the world.
Pomona Valley, right?
Yeah, so it is the citrus belt. You know, you consider one of the food basket of the south. You know, while the orange are at its lowest right now, you know, we continue to see whereby it is improving, and it will get where we want it to get one day soon. So certainly we continue to do activities like these to continue to build Pomona and continue to have people know what Pomona is all about.
Pomona has a very rich history when you look at that community and the fact that, as you mentioned earlier, it's at the heart of the citrus belt, right? Notwithstanding what's happening in the industry, Pomona has a rich and vibrant culture of its own in terms of the people who live there, in terms of its contribution to the Stan Creek district as well.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about growing up in Pomona and what it's been like for you guys in terms of the experience of being a part of this small but thriving community. Let's start with you.
Where do I start, man? Born and raised in Pomona Village. It's just a beautiful village for everyone to come and, you know, hang out. There's a lot of good activities to do in Pomona, a lot of friendly faces, a lot of good, yeah, I mentioned the name Pomona. It comes from the mythical goddess, from fruit trees, the orchids and gardens, and a lot of people don't know that about Pomona, you know, so I just wanted to, say that about Pomona. It was first called Macaroni Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember about that, which was the highest elevation, the Mountain Macaroni Hill, which is 1,107 feet.
Yeah.
And sometimes referred to as the Quarry Hill, which is a stone quarry there. And the first record of Pomona, of the name Pomona, was in 1973 when Mr. Alfred Vine, the manager of the British Honduras Syndicate, named his citrus orchard Pomona Holdings, which he then sold to the colonial government in 1913.
You can come with the history first.
Yes,
It's great. It's great.
Behind Pomona, there is a lot of history indeed. Miss Joycelyn, probably her brought up saying Pomona is of most recent, no? So maybe I could go as far back.
So we went to St. Matthew's School, and now she's teaching in St. Matthew's School.
So I have a whole history in that section. So to divert a little from him, I'll tell you about my growing up in Pomona, born and growing in Pomona. Vibrant village, welcoming people, and for instance, if I would be somewhere and you're a village girl, proud village girl, yes, proud Pomona village girl. So it's really interesting to know that some people don't see it as different, but from my experience, I would say different because the town life, the city life from the village life, different pace.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So we can't talk about Pomona and Pomona Village Day without talking about football, because Pomona has bred quite a number of Belizean athletes who star in football. Let's talk about that here on.
Well, I'm glad you had mentioned that, Misane. Pomona is not only known for oranges. Pomona is known for its talent in football. We have Harrison Cafe Roches, we have Mr. Elroy Smith, you know, and just to name a few, we have Mr. Clint Logan. We have so many others that continue to be on the map as it relates to football. And because of that, you know, even leading up to Pomona Day and for Pomona Day, we are going to have marathons. That is one of the biggest things to be visiting Pomona for Pomona Day. It starts off with the Friday night, whereby St. Matthew's School is going to have an under-15 football marathon. And not only the marathon is attractive, but the prizes for that marathon are very attractive. It's 1,500 alone for first place for marathon. That's to show you how much we put football on the map and continue to build football from its ground level. You know, too often times we say football is only for the adults, but we say we build our youth. So we want them to come out. And while bringing out those under 15 youths, it brings out their parents. So you could imagine the amount of persons that are going to be there just because of supporting their kids. So we could talk more about the prizes. I know the first prize is 1,500, and that is the Friday night. Maybe Ms. Joycelyn can elaborate.
Mr. Ferguson have mentioned, there will be 2 marathons. One for the Friday, which the school will be hosting, which is the under 15 teams. And the following day, the village council will be hosting the big marathon. For the under 15, the prices are first prize 1,500, second prize 800, and third prize 500. So we try to keep it on the map where we, it's to instill or carry on the football team, the legacy of the football team on the map for our 2 days activity.
This is the third year, and I understand that this is the first year that you are collaborating with
This is the first year that we're collaborating with the village council team, as the Southern School, the Southern Anglican School merged this year. So it's a 2 days activity. The Friday night, the Anglican School will be having market night, as we call it, whereby the 3 Southern schools, which includes St. John's, St. Matthew's, and Christ the King School, we merged together for that night to host the market night, sorry.
So what other activities? There's a football match, there's the market night. What other activities?
There will be a variety of activities. We will have stalls, we will have food stalls, game stalls for both adult and child-friendly activities. We have the trampolines. We're trying to work on getting the rodeos.
Yeah, we're trying to bring down bull riding. That is not yet confirmed, but that is something that we want to have in the valley. You know, so we're working on that. So the flyer is loading right about now. But I must mention that one of the big events for Pomona Day is the Radwell Ferguson Masters of the Hill bicycle race.
Okay.
For the first time, we'll be having a race from Belmopan through the Hummingbird Highway onto Dangrega Roundabout and back to Pomona. It's some 66 miles of riding, but it's going to be a gruesome ride, because I don't believe, if my recollection serves me right, that there have ever been a race through the Hummingbird Highway. It's going to be tough. It's going to be for the strongest, I am certain. The prizes, they are very much attractive, and it has been sanctioned by the Cycling Association of Belize. So it is open. It's an open race, and we welcome all to be a part of that. It's going to be a very interesting one. I must say that at this time we are putting all the necessary arrangements to ensure that safety of those riders are a part of it, having the ambulances, having police, the transport department. So for those riders who are out there, trust me that there will be enough precautions as it relates to you guys mastering that Hummingbird Highway. It's going to be interesting.
So we've talked about food, we've talked about other activities. What about music? Pomona is also rich in its music history.
Hell of a time in Pomona,
yes,
no?
sir.
Maybe you guys want to share with them? I know, we have the flyer full.
The flyer consists of different artists that we try to get in locally and from surrounding towns and villages. So we have a list of lineup on this flyer. If I could recall clearly, we have the famous Sweet Pain Band 3.0, we have QB, we have DJ 10. He's from Pomona as well, but then he went to Placencia. He now resides there. So it's just a variety of artists will be there. Just to name a few.
McCoy, and we have the great McCoy likewise. Yes. Right, to have the Yo-Yo, everybody. I see Mr. Yo-Yo on the screen likewise. He's one of the upcoming artists. He's an entertainer, when everybody know that Yo-Yo is in the building, it's going to be entertainment. Have DJ Demar. And the list continues. So it's a day full of activities, fun-filled activities for the entire family. We're going to have the bounce house, we're going to have the trampolines, we're going to have paintball, we're going to have a lot of different activities, we're going to have horseback riding. It's a full day of activities for the entire family that is arranged for you guys. So, we are calling on every Belizeans to take a trip down to the south, take a trip to Pomona. It's very easy through the coastal road, like I was saying to you, Mr. Isani. It's an hour, but we advise you to stay between 55 and you can cruise, enjoy the scenery of either the Hummingbird Highway or the Coastal Highway.
Have you had a lot of people outside of Pomona come to Pomona Day?
Most certainly. it's our third annual, and as of last year, we see whereby people as far as the diaspora coming in. So they have asked us last year to ensure that we make it a 2 days event, so that when they come, they have at least 2 days of activities for them to be involved in. And we are so grateful to be joined by the St. Matthew's Anglican School this year, so that we could have merged it in order for it to be a 2 days event. So again, we thank you guys from the Anglican Diocese for joining us.
Where is it going to be? I know it's at Pomona, but where in Pomona?
From Sharp football field, mile 11 right in front of the St. Matthew's School.
Okay. It starts Friday. What time? What is it starting with?
3:30 Friday evening. It starts with the under 15 football marathon and the leading up to the night market. So very early we're going to have entertainment. All the flea market and everything will be set up. The entire grounds will already be up and running up until midnight for the first day. And on the 1st of June, we go up until 2 a.m.
So technically Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
So it's a whole weekend.
A whole weekend of activities.
It's no longer Pomona Day.
When you wake up on Sunday morning, if you're still in that spirit or in that vibe, or you're coming down off of that high, there's still something for you to do about the village, right?
Well, get yourself a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice, and that will rehabilitate your entire moment again. So certainly.
All right, so let's take the opportunity once again then to invite friends and family and anybody who wants to come down to Pomona next weekend or the weekend of the 30th to be a part of the day.
Well, certainly we want to extend an invitation to the entire country of Belize. Those who are listening from the diaspora, you still have time to book that ticket. It's not too late. It's going to be something different. It's what we call a village day. And what we have done with the stalls, we have asked persons to bring out those things that are, especially in Pomona, that is unique, things that are unique to Pomona. Bring out the tableta, bring out the fudge, bring out the crust, bring out these things that are known for Village Day. So we are looking at the stalls not to have each person have barbecue or rice and beans. We want to visit the stalls and have, different, something for your palate. So, that is what you can come look forward to whilst visiting Pomona, and certainly you will be entertained, that there will not be a lack of entertainment for those football fans, for those bicycle fans likewise. Feel free to make it down to Pomona and you will not be discouraged. Certainly you will have a fun-filled weekend.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. And remember, Pomona weekend starts May 31st and it ends June 1st right over at Pomona Village. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we are going to take our final break and we'll be back to wrap things up. Don't go away.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offer, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Global rise in temperatures due to climate change increase the severity of dry weather conditions experienced in Belize. Forest fires, dust buildup, and contamination of our power lines can result in power interruptions. At BEL, we continue to do our part to minimize the impacts of challenging weather conditions and improve the reliability of our power line system. You can help. Report forest fires or damaged power line structures using our BEL 24/7 app or call us at 0800 BEL Care. That is 0800 235 2273. We continue to serve you.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Monday morning. It's good to be back. It's good to be home. And we also want to say a big thank you to all of our guests for tuning in. Thank you so much to Minister Kevin Bernard for giving us these health updates. Thank you to Ms. Kim Vasquez for updating us on Festival of Arts. And of course to the members of the committee from the Pomona Village Council to give us an update all about Pomona Day. And of course, I want to thank you, the viewers, for joining us as you do every day to start your morning right here with us on Open Your Eyes. It is May 13th. Thank you so much. If it is your birthday today, I want to say a happy birthday to you. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live stream every day on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and catch our highlights on Instagram at OYE And please do us the favor and tune in again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, Belize. Have a wonderful day today. Stay cool.